my ability in trying to put that vest on for Great Britain and win medals.
Well, Jason, as ever, it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Well, 11 men on the line then for this next race, the mile, a race that doesn't run rarely nowadays, but there's a special man who runs well when he does compete over it. Craig Mottram of Australia, the 27-year-old, huge figure, around 6'5", the former triathlete, and clearly the fastest non-African in the world over 5,000 metres, 3,000 metres, and one of the fastest over the mile at the moment. There's the full lineup, plenty of good athletes there. Watch out for Mitch Kelly, another Australian there. He wears a 6, he's guesting in this race, a man who has recently run 3:39. That's worth around 3:56 for a mile, but Mottram's best is a mighty impressive 3:48. He holds the Australian record for the mile. Look out too for Andrew Lemoncello. There he is, the man wearing number 9, guesting in this race. He heard this morning that he has been included in the UK team list for the World Championships in Osaka in the steeplechase. That's his number 1 event, but he's a very useful miler as well. Indeed, there are several men in this field who have the ability to break 4 minutes for the first time. It would be so special if they could. So away they go then. Look out too for Colm Rooney of Ireland here. He's a 3:43 man at 1,500 metres. That's of course around 100 metres, the length of the straight shorter than a mile. So if you add on around 17 or 18 seconds to a 1,500 time at this level, you get their mile time. Colm Rooney then it is who leads at the moment, the 24-year-old. Set a personal best of 4:02 all of 4 years ago in Dublin, and clearly here is very hungry for a quick time. Would be lovely to see a sub-4-minute mile here. Last year Alan Webb, the fastest in the world this year, ran here but couldn't break 4 minutes, Stuart, but it was a much windier evening.
Yeah, Bruce Rayside of Scotland, the 25-year-old, is in second place. So it's Ireland and Scotland leading this race at the moment. Limoncello is there, interesting character, says he would love to break 4 minutes, in third place with a 5 club on his vest. He's 24, he's at Florida State University, he's our top steeplechaser, he's won the trials at the weekend, goes to Osaka in that event. So there's a real spread of ability in this race.
Well, they've gone through 440 yards. That is the quarter mile, remember, not 400 metres, in 60.2. So Rooney setting this up wonderfully well for the rest of the field. The Clonliffe Harrier doing a great job. Rayside it is indeed in second place there. Bruce Rayside from Scotland, the 25-year-old. He too, one of my men who has a chance here of going under 4 minutes. His best is 3:42. That equates to around 3:59 for the mile. Now Mottram moving up down the back straight. 2.5 laps to run. And that's a big move from Mottram, who has decided to go with this. Remember, Mottram was well beaten by the great Kenenisa Bekele in Sheffield a couple of weeks ago, but he had been suffering from a slight hamstring problem for 10 days or so prior to that race, we later found out. So he's in second place now, Mottram, behind Rooney, and I'd really like, Stuart, to see somebody take over from Rooney here and help with the pace.
Yes indeed, and Mitch Kelly, the Australian, is in third place, as you say that, and they're all bunching now, which probably indicates it's slowed down just a little bit. Hay is coming, Alistair Hay with the development team. 4:24.25 is best. But remember, Mottram, as you said, a class act. He holds the Australian record, 3:48.98. That is wonderful running.
2:02 at 880 yards, so Mottram needs to run his second half here, and around 1:58. Negative splits at this sort of pace for him, not a problem at all, but it's still little Colm Rooney who leads the 24-year-old. Now Mottram hits the front with a lap and 3/4 to go. On his shoulder, Keeley there in the red vest, the Australian who's beginning to make it inroads towards world class. He recently won in Tallinn in Estonia in 3:39. At 1,500 metres, so he's in second. Also making his self felt there is Andrew Lemoncello, the 24-year-old. Educated in the States at Florida State University till recently. Lemoncello now in third spot, but the gap beginning to grow back to Keeley as Mottram just begins to wind it up. And he's such a tall man, Stuart, you can't really tell when he accelerates because his stride is so long.
Yeah, it's deceptive, isn't it? But he looks absolutely superb. But that he floated away from the rest with just 400 metres to go. And Lemoncello needed to be a little bit closer if he wanted to get that 4 minutes. But it's just over 3 minutes at 13:20.
Well, Craig Mottram here has got his head down, has kicked in very hard over the last 200 metres. 3/4 of a lap to go, 300 metres to run. Mottram's lead over Keeley has grown massively in the space of a half a lap. He leads by about 25 metres. He's got his head down now, and I'm sure we're seeing a sub-4 minute mile unfolding here in the Grangemouth Stadium, because he goes through with half a lap to run in around 3:28. Mottram then turning it on. He's got a big 2 miles at Crystal Palace this coming Friday, where he hopes to break 8 minutes for 2 miles. He leads to break 1 mile here, 4 minutes for 1 mile here. He leads now by fully 30 metres from Kelly and Lemoncello. But watch the clock. He's got about 60 metres to go. 3:49. He's going to do it by a long way. He's looking relaxed now. He's eased off somewhat, has Craig Mottram. This is a wonderful display from Mottram. Crosses the line in 3:56. I got his last lap at 55. Kelly in second place, Limoncello in third. Rooney there comes home, some way outside 4 minutes. His reward for a very, very good effort through the first 3 laps was a time of around 4:03, I should think.
Well, certainly Mottram was completely in control of that race, wasn't he? He actually worked off the pace, the early pace that Colm Rooney, the Irish athlete, created, really. He's a 4-minute 2-miler, so at his very best. That was a couple of seasons or so ago, but that was good pace. And then, as you said, negative split, not a problem for Mottram. Let's just have a look at this. The margin of lead is considerable here, with Mitch Kelly, the other Australian, behind him. He's got a PB recently at 3:58.45, so he's a sub 4-minute miler as well. Last lap 55.67. What a performer this man is. He looks so very, very easy, Tim. Class act, a class act in every sense.
He did, didn't he, look easy? And Craig has already got his breath back, I understand.
Well, Craig, a sub 4-minute performance there. Fantastic. That looked like a very emphatic victory.
Yeah, things are going really well. I mean, Friday night at Crystal Palace is the main goal for me in the next week. I've got to do 2 of those back to back, which will be tough, but things are good. I mean, that's as good as I've run over the mile this year, so I'm happy with that.
The atmosphere as you crossed the line, I mean, it was just electric. The crowd really responded to an inspirational performance.
Yeah, that's right. I came here 5 weeks ago to do a launch for this meet, and they asked whether I'd run 4 minutes here, and I said, well, if you like, okay, I'll come and do it. But we're actually quite lucky with the weather. It wasn't as bad as I thought, and that was quite comfortable, so looking forward to a few days from now.
And you've got to be really excited about the shape that you're in, because you're hardly out of breath.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, in Osaka in 5 weeks, over 5K, I'll probably have to run that for the last 4 laps of the 5K, so I'd want to be able to do it comfortably, and tonight was all right. It was a good blowout. I've trained hard the last few weeks, and I'll be hard to beat in 5 weeks, I can guarantee you.
Well, best of luck in London, and of course in Osaka as well.